Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be comparing and contrasting. So far I've heard people talk about using Adobe Photoshop for their CH puppet, and while that is good for certain puppets, there are certain puppets that I would definitely go with Adobe Photoshop. But most of my characters are made with Adobe Illustrator, and there is a clear reason for that. Now, first of all, I create my puppets with my characters with plenty triggers, especially the hand triggers, the arm triggers, sorry. So I animate the whole arm at once. Let me show you something like this. So as you can see, there are so many cycle triggers here. There are so many cycle drawings here. So now, for instance, I want to change the cloth, or maybe add a wristwatch to one of the hands. Now I have to go through, if I'm doing this in Photoshop, I have to go through and redraw every single frame of this hand cycle. I have to draw every single cycle. But in Adobe Illustrator, of course, I'll make a particular video just for this particular, because this is actually a very wide topic to cover. So I don't think I'll be able. This is a summary kind of video of why you should go with Adobe Illustrator instead of Adobe Photoshop for this kind of characters. There are certain characters like okay, maybe I should look for one of them. A character I created that those kind of characters cannot be made with Adobe Illustrator, because they're actually very complex with shadings and brushes and stuff like that. So I had to stick with Photoshop for that. Anyway, let me just later, maybe in a future video, I'll cover that. So what I do with these hands is, instead of redrawing every single, I create it as a brush. So I create a brush, a stroke. I make it as a stroke, so I can come in and replace it at any point in time that I want. So I could just easily redraw. That is why I have this reference area, this reference group. So I keep every of my reference files here. Now I could redraw this. As you can see, all I did here was to turn this into a suit. From initially it was the arm of a suit arm, but I just added this, that is just this, to make it into like a jacket or a sweater kind of arm. So, and then you select it, you select the whole group, you come to this brush panel, you add a new brush, and you go with art brush. You OK it, and then since I've already created it, I won't be doing that again. So you just make sure stretch to fit length, blah blah blah, and all this. Just go with these settings, and then you create it. When you do, so anytime, every single time you want to create an arm, that's the lower arm, you can do this for the entire arm, but I prefer to separate this into separate layers so that I could easily manipulate whichever part I want. So I could easily just create one line and then select, boom, straight off. So you see, so now I could replace an entire arm. Like, let me just go back. I could replace an entire arm with the suit. Just this, I could replace the entire arm with a suit hand. This is how I do it. So let me just turn this off. So I could turn on every single arm on this in this group. That's the arm B, and then the arm A, and then I could just select one. Let me do this with just this one for now. And this is just a summary video. I will definitely be covering this more in depth in the future video. But for now, so let me just select one here, and then I can come to selection option here, and then select scene and appearance, need to select every single arm that is similar to this arm. So I could just come here easily and replace it with the suit arm. Boom. That's it. So you see how easy it is. I believe there might be a similar feature there might be a similar feature or something like this in Photoshop, but I do not know about it. So if you do, you could leave a comment below, and I'll check it out. So that is one. And then another advantage of Adobe Illustrator that I believe Adobe Illustrator has over Photoshop is if you go to your Adobe Character Animator. Now, whenever I'm running, okay, I've not talked about the vector aspect, but let me leave that for now. Whenever I'm running an Illustrator file as a puppet in Adobe Illustrator, what I notice is the frame rate, that is the FPS, is always way better. At least it's way better than that of Photoshop. So now I could come in, manipulate, do whatever I want, make so many movements, arm movements, blah blah blah, like this. And if you check down here, you could see I'm getting 28 FPS. That's the least. 26, 29, mostly 29, and in some cases 30, complete 30. And you can see that I'm working the character, working so many triggers. But now let me do the same with a Photoshop puppet that I created. And mind you, this puppet is a very simple puppet with very limited number of triggers. This Sam puppet, of which these puppets are not going to be uploaded on the site because these are actually custom made for exclusive puppets. The owners of this puppet asked for the exclusive rights for this particular puppet, so I cannot share this with anyone. So this particular Sam character comes with so many triggers. If you go to the control panel, you'll be able to see like a lot of triggers and cycle triggers, mind you. But the Photoshop puppet doesn't really have much going. Like I mostly created the puppet with draggers instead of triggers, cycle triggers. So you just have like the fingers moving, the fingers changing like that. But then this puppet already is running at like 16, 15 FPS. So that is not good. It slows down the system, and then you will not enjoy animating with Adobe Photoshop puppet. So that is another advantage I believe Adobe Illustrator has over Photoshop. So you can see it's going down to 13, and let me just play. I believe okay, it's synced. So let me just play it and then you see.
Let's talk to someone you may have all heard of before.
See, Let's talk to 13,
someone you may have
13.
all heard of before.
Really, really low.
Let's talk to someone you may have all heard of before. Let's talk to someone
16.
you may.
That is really poor. Now let me try this with the Sam character that was made with Adobe Illustrator. Now the same audio. Okay.
Let's talk to someone you may have all heard of before.
Running at 26, 27.
Let's talk to someone you may have all heard of before.
That is another advantage. And then another advantage Illustrator has over Photoshop is the fact that Adobe Illustrator is a vector-based program. So you could zoom as much as possible, keep zooming and zooming and zooming, and you will not get those pixelated. The image will not be pixelated. So let me try that. You zoom in, and the lines are still as clean as ever. You do not have this with Photoshop. So it means that your puppets you could scale up your puppet and like scale up this file. You could select everything, scale it up, and have a cleaner puppet, like a way more better puppet than Photoshop. Okay, so one question I get a lot is whenever you are using Adobe Illustrator, especially the new Adobe Illustrator. I don't know about the old CS Adobe Illustrator. Initially, I think the old one, there's this select all feature, and people always used to ask me, how do I select all everything in this layer, even the hidden layers, because whenever they select the hidden layers, so whenever they select a layer with hidden layers, those hidden layers do not get selected. So what example, this is something, this is an example. So how I do it is, instead of creating layers, some people just create layers. You could just create layers and then you put whatever you want, and then you keep adding layers into layers like this, and then layers into layers. I do not create puppets this way. Instead, what I do is I use the group. So there's only one layer. The entire puppet is just one layer. Why is this not selecting? Okay. The entire puppet is one layer, and everything is added into that layer. For instance, now let me try to create the head here. So let me just shape, and then eyes, nose, blah, like this, and then I'll select everything and group Control G. So I can make this let's say the lips, and then maybe add another one in the same layer, maybe, and then I could say this is select this and this, and then say maybe this is the nose. Okay, so now I can just select both and Control G again, Control G, and then name it head. Now let me do something a little bit. Let me create the same thing with layers this time. So how you do it is you this one is, what was it? So what was it? Okay, the lips. Let's say this is lips, and then this is ears. Okay, and then you now create a new layer again, and then you drag it under it, and then create head. Now this is not the best way. What just happened? Oh, okay, yes, I didn't add anything. Okay, so let me just do something like this, and then that's for the lips, and then maybe for the ears I do something like this. Okay, now nice. So in this case, if one of them is hidden, if I select, you see it's only selecting the layer that is visible. It's not selecting the hidden layer, and no matter how much you try, you cannot select it. But in my case, in this one here, even if one is hidden, you can still come and select the entire thing. So that is one way of doing it. Actually, this is the only way of doing it that I know of. So aside from that, if you still want to stick with the layer system, you have to unhide it and select it, which is quite okay for simplistic, very simple characters. You can do this, but for my kind of character with a lot of triggers, I cannot start doing that. Honestly, it will really waste so much time, and just unnecessary work when I can actually do it this way. So you see, this entire arm can be selected, even though most of the layers are hidden. Actually, it's just one layer that is not hidden. So you see, I can select the entire thing and manipulate and whatever like that, and the whole arm is moving. Boom. So that is another advantage. I don't know if of course I'm definitely missing other, and eventually maybe I'll update it, and then I'll make this into like a part 1 and part 2 kind of thing. But for now, thank you for watching. Please leave a like, it will really help us as we're just starting out, and subscribe so you do not miss any update from us. Thank you very much, and bye.